East is east and west is west, and the twain shall never meet. That's according to an old country and western song. But a skincare product from Provence has changed all of that. Nearly half of L'Occitane's sales actually come from Asia. And the company is listed on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. So how does all of this work? Well, here to tell us is the chairman, CEO, and the chief shareholder of L'Occitane, and he's Reinold Geiger, and he joins us now on INSEAD Knowledge. Welcome.
Hello, nice to be here.
You did say towards the end of last year that sales in China were beginning to drop. Is that part of the reason that this was going?
No, there was a different reason there, because during 1 year they changed the rules to import new products. You have to get a homologation, and so we couldn't have any new products into China for about 12 months or 15 months. So therefore because as a company we renew our products quite a lot, and we didn't have enough products to sell. This was the main reason why there was a smaller growth than what we would normally have had. We still had a growth of something like 40%, and in China in the last fiscal year we had a growth of over 50%.
But it wasn't an easy entry for you into Asia. You were losing a lot of money initially, but yet you saw something there and you persisted. What did you see and how did you do it?
The first time I went to Asia was probably about 25 years ago, and or maybe even longer. Unfortunately, I'm not so young anymore, so it was even before. And I was absolutely fascinated by the work that people were doing. I saw them working. It was absolutely incredible. So I thought that, they will really be successful. This continent will rule the world down the road. And so I absolutely wanted to get involved in business there. But at the same time, customs, what people do, the way how they act are different. And in the beginning, when we opened our first store in Hong Kong and in Tokyo, nobody were buying our products, so they were not doing well at all. The reality is that you need brand recognition in Asia, and as long as you don't have this, very few people come to buy.
So how did you get the brand recognition? And you didn't change the look of it either.
No. We insisted and we continued and gave samples, and little by little, this store was still here, so people ended up coming in and trying the products, and all at once, it took us about 3-4 years of real hard suffering, and all at once it just went off.
So how did you must have lost money there.
Absolutely.
How did you stand that?
We were making money in other countries, but in Asia we were losing money. The auditor, which is one of the big five or four,
yeah.
what is it
I think it's
now?
Still 5.
The big boss came to see me and suggested me, he told me, you must stop your activity in Asia, because this will kill your company. This is always not unpleasant if somebody comes to tell you this, and maybe you can think maybe he's right. So after 20 seconds, I told him that I decided where we do business, and he should just take care of the accounts.
So what is the shareholder structure? Do you have a holding company, or how much of the shares are listed?
We have a holding company, which is mainly the different people from the company who are there, and below is the operational company, and out of this about 30% is listed on the stock market, and 70% belongs to the holding company.
And you own how much of the shares?
I own a little bit more than, I own 57% of the holding company.
Now, you actually, there's a little bit of interesting history here. You bought the company because you were interested in it, and then you thought this needs a little more work. And can you give us just a little thumbnail sketch of your entry into the company? And did you see yourself as a skincare magnate?
No, in the very beginning I was supposed to be only investor and a minority shareholder, and because the company was doing very badly, it looked like I'm going to lose my investment, so I ended up working in it. So at least I thought that then I cannot blame anyone else if it all goes down the drain.
Do you use the products?
I cannot use any other products. I get because it doesn't work.
You're a great advertisement for them. That's why I was wondering. Okay. In terms of opening shops, I mean, here in Paris, I feel as though there's one on every corner, and they're usually busy. How many more? What's the situation with shops, and where are you opening? And are you a little worried about being saturated, maybe?
We have 3 countries where we have saturation, where we cannot make many more stores, and this is France, where we have about 130 stores, Hong Kong, where we have about 22 stores, and Taiwan, where we have about 60 stores. But in all the other countries, we can double or more than double the number of stores. I mean, if you look at the United States, we have about 175 stores. I mean, you have a mass market companies having 2,000 stores, cosmetic stores. So, I mean, we are not mass market, but we certainly can make 300 or 400 stores. If you look at China, today we have about 100 stores. I mean,
yeah, that's a very small number.
It's a very small number. I mean, our limitation in the number of stores we open in China is the people we can train to run our stores, because you don't find many qualified people, because all is new there. So in all the other countries we can more than increase significantly the number of stores. So therefore, I mean, today we are still only in the beginning of our development.
How do your airport shops do?
I mean, the travel business is a very important part of the business. I mean, we started this about 6-7 years ago in a significant way. You need to have a brand which is recognized and well known, because people who travel, they don't shop around like when they browse in the street or in a shopping center. And at one stage we reckoned that we now have a chance to be successful in airports, and it is true. We're very fortunate. It's a little bit mushrooming.
You're kind of a serial entrepreneur. You tried a bunch of different projects, and you started in packaging successfully, packaging for perfumes and cosmetics. Can you give us a little bit of your history up to the point where you bought into Occitan?
Well, I mean, I first, when I was very young, 23 years old, I started a tour operator business because I have a passion for skiing, and I know all the ski resorts in Europe, because I have been in most of them, and unfortunately this one didn't work out. It was a little complicated. I started it in London, and there was Mrs. Thatcher coming in power, and they had strikes, so I had only expenses, and I couldn't send any tourists anymore. So I had to cease all activities and then work for 2 years to pay back my debts. Then I started a distribution company for technical machinery for plastic and rubber, and there we did it with 3 friends from college, and I mean, very often I have seen since that it doesn't work out when people are friends, they start a business together, because they don't have the same view about business. And so at one stage I said, okay, I mean, I don't agree how it's moving ahead, so I changed. And then I started a packaging company, a little bit by coincidence, and this company was doing pretty well and became a leader, one of the 2 leaders in the cosmetic packaging in Europe and the United States. But after about 10 years, I mean, I knew this business in and out, and I just wanted to change, to do something different, and so I sold the company and then tried to think what else to do. And in the beginning I thought just be a little bit of an investor, and this is how I invested in L'Occitane. And because it turned out not to do well, I started getting involved, and then I found out that it's a lot of fun. And I mean, I always wanted to be involved in products that I can associate myself to. I mean, packaging I was doing, we were making nice designs and nice things. It was very nice, but the finished product was much more exciting than the packaging. So But I mean, it is very much luck, coincidence.
Well, also you don't give up. I mean, you've just cited several different instances where you saw a problem, you realized this wasn't going right, and it couldn't be fixed, and so you left. But you keep coming back. Is that an entrepreneurial trait? I mean, is that?
I think if you give up, you go bankrupt, because there were so many occasions where you were I was in a dead end, and looked like there is no solution, no outcome. And you just must be an optimist and attack it from a different angle again and try to come out of it.
Have you had many offers for the company?
No, because we absolutely don't want to sell the company, so therefore we don't discuss about, I mean, we have many people who contact us, or companies who contact us. Some even write in newspapers that they're going to buy us, but
They haven't talked to you about it.
We don't talk to them about this, because this is not the subject.
What about succession? You have sons. Are they going to take over?
Well, there are people in the company who can take over, and now I have two sons who work in the company today. But I mean, I don't know whether they will become I mean, they will become shareholders. Whether they will run the company, it's something different.
What kinds of corporate projects do you do that might be classified as socially responsible? I mean, a lot of what you use is natural. They're all commodities. They have to come from different parts of the world.
Much before socially responsible becomes a little bit of a trend, and which is the company was built like that, and it's the DNA of it. I mean, they always cared about the environment, and there was always a kind of respect for people and helping people who are in needs or in trouble. I mean, a good example is that why we are having a very successful line since 25 years, which is based on shea butter. Shea butter is a nut which comes from a tree in Africa, and the founder did go to Africa, to Burkina Faso, to help them make soaps, because they're so poor they cannot import soaps. Or, I mean, many people cannot buy soaps, could not buy soaps which are imported. And being there, he found that this shea butter seems to be very interesting, because they use it for cooking. If they hurt themselves, they put it on the skin. They protect themselves from the sun with it. So he took the shea butter back, and they analyzed it in the lab and found out that it has absolutely fantastic properties. And so today we have a very successful and very broad range with those products. And shea butter is used by many other cosmetic companies since. At the same time, so we wanted to buy the shea butter directly from them. In the beginning, there was a middleman who took 80% of the price, and the women who did the work, they get 20% of the price. So then we eliminated the middleman, and we have today we have several people living there, being employed by us, and we have 13,000 women collecting and making the shea butter, because I mean they squeeze it to make the juice and then make the butter, and we are paying them about 2.5 times the market price. And with this, this completely changes the life of the families of those women, because the woman can keep the money of shea butter. This is a tradition in this part of Africa, and so they use it to educate the children. Because for other money which they earn, they have to give it to her husband, and the husband usually go and buy beers, and there's no money left for the education of children or for the family itself. And at the same time, since then, I mean, we are very involved in this country. We have made schools. We support or finance doctors to go there to help, especially children who are sick, who are ill. Their nutrition is very bad. I mean, there are awful lot of problems.
Let's talk a little bit about entrepreneurship and being an entrepreneur. Do you think of yourself as being an entrepreneur?
No. I mean, it is. I think it's too pompous to call oneself an entrepreneur. But unfortunately, this is a little bit the description which people understand. I mean, I just wanted to have no boss and do things by myself. And I mean, this is, for me, I was not at all motivated to become rich. I mean, if you're lucky and the company is doing very well, then you obviously have created wealth. But at the same time, this is totally virtual, because I'm not selling the company. It doesn't mean anything.
Why do you think you were successful? You must have seen a lot of people falling by the wayside as you were trying this, and a lot of people who try to do, as you say, do things by yourself and be your own boss. A lot of people don't succeed.
I think because I'm a very simple person. I don't complicate things too much. Maybe not too intelligent. When you're too intelligent, it's difficult. So that's,
Does it have anything to do with skiing? I mean, maybe the downhill racing or something. You're fearless because of skiing?
And I love taking risks. I mean, I do love skiing, and skiing between two crevasses on a glacier is exciting. It's adrenaline. So you don't want to fall down, but and I just was happy like that. So I mean, the packaging company, I sold it to a big group, and I worked in this big group for about 9 months, and I just was not happy, because so much work is done just for the appearance, waste of time, company politics, and I just wanted to work and go on and progress. And so I left the company, and then started another small company, which in the beginning didn't work. So there's another one I forgot, which didn't work. But because it didn't work, I had no secretary, no nothing, but I was happy.
And now, clearly, you've been to INSEAD. You have an MBA, so there's some work there on the administrative side. What did you learn here that's helped you?
Well, first of all, before I started engineering, and I had no finance or commercial education. Already, I mean, I thought I can read a balance sheet, but I couldn't.
Useful skill.
Yes, no. And so I think for me, the business education was extremely useful. And what was fascinating, and certainly which did help, is that part of the education is studying different actual cases. And I mean, this was very interesting to have such a broad variety of what people did do, what made it successful, what made it failures. And I think afterwards you forget most of it, but somehow there is it helps you to, when you develop a company like we were fortunate to do ours, you cannot think too much about it. You have spontaneous reactions, and it certainly helped to have this.
What are you most proud of?
No, I'm most proud of for the company to have survived up until now, and that we have a group of people who are having a ball going to work. On Monday morning when they go to work, most of them are happy, and are not sad because the weekend is over, and at the same time they are joyful people and enjoy their weekend.
As you do, obviously.
Absolutely.
Let me just end by asking you what advice you would offer for an aspiring entrepreneur. That sounds a little bit grand, but somebody who wants to go out and start his own business or has an idea, or what would you tell this person, man or woman?
I think he must be a dreamer and have a vision. I mean, vision also is a little bit pompous as a word, but must think where he sees himself in 5-10 years' time, and not be very low-key and modest, but not modest with his ambition where he wants to get.
Reinold Geiger, thank you very much for being with us on INSEAD Knowledge.
Okay, a pleasure. Thank you.